Happy day, fantastic fifth graders. I am so excited that you're willing to spend a little bit of time with me today. My name's Dr. Eric Zeisler. I belong to Jacob, and he asked me if I would spend just a little bit of time telling you what in the world it is I do. Well, I am a doctor of chiropractic, first and foremost, and what in the world is that? Well, really a chiropractor is someone who specializes in pain management of people's backbone or their spine. Now, here's a spine. This isn't a real one. This is a plastic model of one. But in our spine, we have these bones, and then this thing, it's called a disc, and another bone, and then a disc, and a bone, and a disc. And these discs are a lot like a super ball or a squishy ball. And what they do is they allow the spine to move so we can bend and move. If the spine was one solid bone, it would like there was a broomstick taped to our back and we wouldn't be able to move at all. So these discs allow us to be able to bend and move. Now what we say is when we have a bone, a disc, and a bone, we call that a motor unit. It means this unit moves together, hence motor unit. Now these discs, in adults, we don't have blood vessels that go into those discs. So the disc is a lot like a dirty sponge. You know, have you ever taken a sponge and put it in water and squished it and all the gunk comes out and all the clean water gets sucked up into the disc or into the sponge? Well, that's how these work. We go about our day and we bend, we twist, we move. These things get squished, they squirt out toxins and they absorb nutrients, and it works fantastic until it doesn't. For a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's little things that build up over time. Sometimes it's a car accident or a slip and fall or some kind of an injury. Things get stuck and then they don't move the way that they should. And you don't always feel it right when it happens, but it starts to build up over time. So what in the world does that mean? So again, this is just a little bit easier to hold. So we have that bone, that disc, and that bone, and that's what we call that motor unit. And what happens is if this disc can't breathe, it can't move, toxins build up, and it starts to dehydrate, and it starts to get fragile. Now, dehydrating means it starts to turn from a raisin into a grape. Switch that around. It turns from a grape into a raisin. All right, so it loses its water, and as it's doing that, this outside layer of this disc, just like your lips, they get chapped. Now what happens when your lips get chapped? They can crack and then it hurts, right? Same thing here. This disc can crack. Now these things back here, these are called joints. That's where all the motion happens. That's where everything's moving, right? And if everything's moving right there, that's where this disc can wear out first because there's more motion there. So we get little cracks, those like the chap lip cracks in the disc, and then that inside gel part of the disc can bulge out. Okay, when it bulges out, it can irritate these things called nerves, and then we have lots of pain and discomfort, and it's uncomfortable, and that's not a good thing. Now, you fifth graders are really, really, really smart, so I'm going to take this to the next level. You're going to know more about spines than almost anybody in the state. See these little things here? Those are called joints or facet joints. When they're out of alignment, it's a lot like when the front end of your car is out of alignment. Now, what's that mean? Now, when the front end of your car is out of alignment, the tires start to wear goofy. They don't wear the way that they should, and they can wear out. Same thing with these joints. When they're out of alignment, they wear goofy, which means they lose the smooth surface and develop a sandpaper grit. That sandpaper grit causes friction. Think of it when you wear a shoe that's too small and your toes rub, you can get a blister. Same thing here, it rubs and it creates a blister or creates fluid, and that can irritate the nerve and cause problems. That sandpaper grit has a medical term, and a lot of medical terms are based in Latin. So it's called arthritis. Arthritis, that means sandpapery grit in the joint that makes it hurt. And as this disc continues to dehydrate and looks like that raisin instead of the grape, this hole here where this nerve comes out gets smaller and smaller and smaller, because how big that hole is determined by how thick that disc is. So it becomes a raisin, this hole gets smaller, and now we have another Latin term. We call it stenosis, which means narrowing. And that narrowing can irritate that nerve, and that nerve will hurt, and it's uncomfortable, and it's not fun, and it's not good, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So as a chiropractor, what I do is I make sure these things keep moving. I make sure these joints are properly aligned, or where they should be, so they don't wear goofy, so that this disc can pull in water and plump up, and you can live a long, pain-free life. I'm Dr. Eric Zeisler. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. Have a fantastic day.